Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. Here on the channel, we're talking about everything from homeschooling to homemaking, faith and fitness, and anything else in between that happens in our life. From the title, I'm gonna do a meal prep. This is mostly for me, but I am gonna prep some things for my husband as well. So if that's something you'd like to see, make sure you stay tuned. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it is. Don't skip, don't go forward. Stay right there. If you haven't seen some of our other videos, you may not know that I have restarted a fitness journey of sorts. I've been on a fitness journey, I feel like, a lot of years of my life, but just recently I embarked on another 90-day journey, and I say another 90 days because I did an original 90 days starting back in July of 2021 and ending right around September, mid-September. And then I kind of just let myself enjoy the holidays, sometimes a little too much. So now I have decided I'm going to embark on another 90-day journey. It feels like a good round number to me, and I just feel like you can make some progress and see some things, and it doesn't feel too huge of a bite to take out of, so 90 days works well for me. So on this 90-day journey, I am looking to lose a little bit of poundage, gain a little bit of muscle, just get healthy overall and feel better in my skin and my body and mentally as well. But if you would like to see, I do have some videos where I set up my fitness planner, talk about my fitness goals and things like that, and I will link some of those throughout this video so you can be sure to watch if that's something that interests you. Today I'm just gonna prep a couple of breakfast and a few lunches for my husband and I. My husband does not count macros, so I don't weigh his stuff out. I do count my macros, so I will be weighing my portions out. I am trying to incorporate more plants into my diet. I am not going full plant-based just yet. I don't know if that's something that awaits for me in the future, but for now I'm not going full on plant-based, but I do want to get some more plants into my life and into my food. So I'm slowly trying to incorporate that into my diet. But like I said, I'm not full on plant-based, so there is meat and dairy and all that other stuff in these meals. This morning I decided to just kind of take a look into my refrigerator and see what I had and kind of meal prep based off of that. So I didn't go out and buy anything special for this week. I'm just gonna meal prep with what we have on hand. So let me show you what we have. I have a couple of slices of bread left here. We did purchase this bread to make French toast muffins. I meant to make it for the whole family, but we went through the bread and ate sandwiches and just ate it up before I could do that. So there's just a couple of slices left in here. And then this bread is actually not store-bought bread. I just saved, like when I buy bread like this, I save the bags, and then that way when I make my homemade bread, I have a bread bag to put it in. So this is actually homemade bread. So I'm gonna use some of these and make, I'm gonna try to make a protein French toast muffin or several muffins for my husband and I. And then alongside, we'll also be making some protein oats. So this is just oatmeal. I have chia seeds out, and then I'm also be using some protein, and I'll show you which protein we'll use when we get to that. And then in my freezer, I had this Powered by Plants. It is open. I used a little bit for my husband's lunch, and so I want to go ahead and put the rest in to freezer prep as well. So I'm going to use some of this, and then I also had some tempeh in the fridge, and I'm going to use this as well. I'm going to put it together and make like a stir fry for me. In the fridge as well, I had some cooked rice. This is just, rice with tomatoes in it. And then I had made earlier a kind of sloppy Joe mix. This is lentils and then ground turkey mixed together with onions and bell pepper. So this is leftovers for us, but you can make whatever favorite sloppy Joe mix you want to as well. I think next time I make this, I won't put in the ground turkey. I'm gonna go ahead and just try it with just lentils and see if my family will eat it up that way. I'm slowly trying to put in more meatless meals into our diets and see if that will work, but we're just doing the best we can. So in here is just cooked lentils, ground turkey, like I said, onions, bell pepper, and then the seasonings I believed I used was garlic, cumin. I used some Worcestershire sauce and smoked liquid smoke as well. I'm going to use these two items. I'm going to use the rice and the sloppy Joe mix to make some stuffed peppers. I have some bell peppers here that we purchased and didn't end up using all, and my husband had been requesting stuffed bell peppers, and so I'm going to stuff them with the leftovers there and make that for us as well. So let's get started and make up a couple meals. I'm going to start by cooking up the tempeh. I have never cooked tempeh before. I actually bought this when I was on the Daniel fast and I didn't end up using it, so I don't want it to go to waste. And I wanted to add some more plants into my diet, so we're gonna use this up. So to this, I'm gonna go ahead and put in a little bit of liquid aminos. This is what we use instead of soy sauce. And I'm gonna put that down first because I'm gonna try not to use extra oil. I'm gonna put that down. I'm also gonna put in some garlic. If you've seen me cook on here, you know I use entirely too much garlic all the time, and we use a cheater's version. I go ahead and buy it from Costco already all minced up. And I'm gonna go ahead and put in the tempeh pieces. Sure, if you used oil, it would go ahead and crisp up a little bit more, but I'm just skipping the oil, honestly, just to save a couple of fat grams. I do cook with oil, but don't have any spray oil right now, and so just to save me that little tiny bit of fat grams, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the soy and garlic. So it is soaking up the soy sauce really well, and what I'm gonna put in here as well is a little bit of ginger and a little bit of lime juice as well. Fresh lime juice is probably always preferred, but this is what I have on hand, so that's what we're gonna use. Okay, to the French toast mix, I am going to add in some almond milk. I'm kind of winging it. I'm just, as we go is what we're gonna do here. I have some egg whites out, and then I also took out, I have this whey protein that I think we got this actually from Sprouts. I'm almost out of it, so I do want to get some more. I did like this protein powder, but I'm going to use up this as well. Just kind of mix it up, and then, oh, you know what? Let's put some cinnamon in as well. We're going to put some cinnamon in and then get crazy and add some nutmeg too, because why not? You could also add vanilla extract to it if you wanted to. But this is what we're gonna go with. I am gonna eyeball it, and so the way that I'm gonna calculate the macros with that is I have my bowl, I have my scale, I put the bowl on the scale, and then I zeroed it out. And then I just have a pen and paper next to me, and I'm going to write down as I'm making it and calculate the macros later. Is it the most efficient? No, but I'm just kind of winging it. That's how we're doing it this time around. I'm gonna zero it back out, and I'm gonna add the last of this multi-grain bread into it. I'm just gonna tear it into pieces and put it in there. The end pieces I think are great for French toast because it really soaks up the liquid in here, and then if your family is not a fan of the end pieces of the bread, this is a great way to use them up too. You could add in raisins to this when you make the muffins. You could add in walnuts, I think would be like a nice fun crunch to it. Flax meal maybe, or chia seeds even. I mean, you can go crazy. So I think I'm gonna leave it plain just because this is the first time I'm doing it. And then the morning of, if it's not sweet enough for me, I can add some honey on top, drizzle some honey or something like that. But honestly, I think because most of the protein powders have some sort of sweetener in it, I am gonna just leave it this way and not put anything at first since this is my first time making it. This particular protein powder has monk fruit extract as its sweetener, if you're curious. So I'm gonna put these into some muffins and see how many it makes. There are two ways you can calculate the macros out for this. You can take your total amount and just divide it evenly, or as evenly as you can if you're the only one that's going to be eating these, and then divide it out that way. So for instance, say I'm the only one that's going to be eating the French toast muffins, and I just try to evenly disperse this between the 6 cavities that I have here. I would just take the whole recipe, divide by 6, and that would be more or less the amount of macros and calories in there. Because I know I'm going to eat them all eventually throughout the week, it wouldn't matter too much if one day had a little bit more or a little bit less. If you wanted to be more precise and not eat them all in one week and say maybe freeze some for another day, or if you were doubling the batch and wanted to freeze some for another day, which is a great idea too, put your bowl on top of your scale and then you would zero it out, and then kind of as the negative macros go in, you would be able to see how much is going into each container. So that is 65, and then I would zero it out again and just make sure I would do 65 on the next one so that I know each of these muffins will be 65 grams of the entire recipe. Okay, so for my husband's, like I said, I'm not going to weigh his out or measure his, so his will be so much more simpler to do. I'm not even gonna rinse this because it's basically the same ingredients. We're gonna throw some milk in here as well. I'm gonna do some egg whites too, and then I think for him, what we will do is go ahead and do a splash of, oh, that's my oven being warmed up. I'm gonna do a splash of flax in his, and the protein powder that I'm gonna use for him is this cinnamon cereal one. This one is from Legion, and it is cinnamon cereal. It really does taste like that. And he likes this one, so I'm gonna give him this one instead and see how he likes it. So here's my ground flax. I'm gonna put some of that in there too, just a little bit, mix it up and see how we do. I think if these come out well, the next time I'm going to double up the batches or maybe even triple them and put them in the freezer so that we have more to last us longer. But since this is my first time making them, I'm just going to do it this way, and it's just going to last us for this week. Plus we're making oats as well, so I think this will be enough for us. So I'm going to put these in the oven at 350. I'm going to start with 20 minutes and then check them. Okay, next up I'm gonna do an old favorite. We're just gonna do some protein oats. These larger jars are gonna be for my husband and the smaller ones are for me. I'm gonna do about, I think maybe a 3/4 cup of oats for my husband, chia seeds, and then we'll also be using the cinnamon protein powder for him as well. And then for me, we'll be doing the same thing, except I'll be using the vanilla protein powder. And the morning of, I can just go ahead and heat up some water. I usually just heat it up in our tea kettle, and then I pour it over. And if I want to add, like I said, I could add some apples and walnuts to it. That has been really good. I've been enjoying that. I could just leave it plain, or I could add cinnamon and nutmeg. I could flavor it more if I want to, or just leave it like this. But this way it's already pre-mixed and ready to roll for me. I had only put in 3/4 cups, but my hubby said if he could have a full cup of oats, and so we're gonna put in just a little bit more here for him. Okay, next I'm gonna go ahead and do the stuffed peppers. I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and give my husband this rice along with the sloppy joe mix to kind of make it a little bit more filling in his tummy. And then I did have some cauliflower rice in the freezer, so I'll do mine with cauliflower rice instead. And the way that I'm gonna do these is instead of cutting the peppers, instead of stuffing my peppers this way, I'm going to cut them in half, and they'll fit into the meal prep container a little better as well, but they'll be more like little boats. I'm just kind of spilling the rice over the sides because there's just a little bit left, and that way he just has a little bit more to his lunch as well. And then my son had a brilliant idea to add some spice to it. So we're gonna just sprinkle some red pepper flakes lightly over everything. And I am going to saran wrap these and put them in the freezer. And then these will be 2 more lunches he's got and they're ready to roll. And then for mine, all I did was cut some red bell peppers the same way, and I am going to zero out my plate here. I'm gonna put the bell peppers on and then weigh it out that way. And this is about what I have left of this mix, so I'm just gonna kind of half it and spread it out. I am still gonna weigh what I have. I have this, like I said, powered by plants. I had just picked this up at our local grocery store. It has grains, vegetables, and legumes in it, and it is sweet potatoes, farro, black beans, and spinach. So easily something you could do on your own, but I wanted something quick and easy, and so I had this. So I'm just going to, the serving size is 1 1/4 cups or 153 grams frozen. So I'm gonna get as close as I can to 153 grams and see what that looks like. Just didn't look like it would be enough, so I did 200 grams. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can to 200 grams on this one as well. There isn't much left in here. I'm gonna weigh this and see how much is in here approximately. So it says 71 grams. I'm gonna see if we can maybe get some of that halfway through. This one came out to about 225 grams. This one is about 230. I'm not really gonna quarrel over those 5 grams of vegetables. You can if you want to. It isn't as exact, but for me, it's gonna be close enough. Then I'm going to take the tempeh that we had made and kind of do half of it in here. I feel like that's gonna be this is gonna be a really hearty meal. So it came out to about 130 grams each. Okay, so here is the finished items that we made. We have 2 different kinds of breakfast here and 2 different kinds of lunches. I will go ahead and show you individually my portions since those are the ones that are calculated the macros out. So we made the stuffed bell peppers. Mine were stuffed with a sloppy joe mix and cauliflower rice. Now I understand that the sloppy joe mix, not everybody has that. I will try to link down below, put down the rough estimate of the recipe that I used to create the sloppy joe mix. And then that way, if you wanted to recreate it and get your macros as close as possible to this, you could. But here is the stuffed bell peppers. I'm going to go ahead and saran wrap this, put it in the freezer because I'm probably not going to eat it for a couple of days. I could just put it in the fridge if I was going to eat it tomorrow. The cauliflower rice will be fine if it's frozen, but I always like to throw them in the freezer if I'm not sure I'm going to get to them right away. The other lunch that I made was this tempeh and kind of, I don't know what I'm calling this, maybe a tempeh bowl. This is a garlic and ginger tempeh. And then we have spinach, sweet potato, farro, and black beans. So I'll put the macros up for this as well, and you can take a look at that. You could, like I said, the mix down below, the spinach, farro, black beans, sweet potato, you could always do that on your own, but I was just taking a shortcut and grabbing a pre-mixed bag at my in my frozen section at the grocery store. So here is the macros for this one. And then for breakfast, we made the protein French toast muffins. This last one I know has a little bit more than these other 4. So what I'm going to do is package these 2 in probably just a sandwich bag or freezer bag and then put them in the fridge that way. And then this last one I will do separately so that I know the grams for this one. So let me show you first the macros for these. And then here is the macros for this last cup, so in case you wanted to make it. Now remember, when you make these, your macros may vary depending on the protein powder that you use and the type of bread. Last breakfast we made was good old protein oats. This is just oats, chia seed, and protein powder. This too, your macros may vary depending on the protein that you choose to use, but this is really great to have on hand. And then by using the vanilla protein, like I mentioned before, it is kind of a simpler base, so you could always add different flavors to this if you wanted to. If you wanted to throw in bananas that day, peanut butter, whatever, apples, walnuts. That's been my favorite mix lately, apples and walnuts. I've been going crazy for that. And that's gonna do it for me. Thanks so much for hanging out with me and getting this mini meal prep done. We just did 2 lunches and 2 breakfasts, I believe. I think that's what we got, right? Anyways, we've got enough to last us the rest of this week, and if we don't get to it this week, we can easily pop this stuff in the freezer. The oats, of course, can just sit on the counter until we're ready to eat it or in your pantry, but at least I know I have some ready available meals so that I'm not kind of scrambling, and I have macros already kind of pre-calculated for me. So this is going to be a big help for us this week. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up so I know this is the kind of content you'd like to see. And if you're not already subscribed, maybe consider watching some of our other videos and subscribing. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our inspiration amongst the chaos. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for being part of our small YouTube family. It is really, really appreciated. Thanks again for watching.